ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Celebrating today, Go Fly a Kite Day. I don't know where you are, but where I've been broadcasting, the wind has been blowing like crazy for the last, 24 hours or so. Not a lot of fun. I'm not a big fan of all the heavy wind, but it is what it is. I know that we are supposed to be getting rain, and we haven't seen that yet, so maybe we'll get some of the wind. I guess the wind might, I don't think we can drink wind, though. That's the problem. So Go Fly a Kite Day is today. To catch that SuperBowl yesterday, maybe you were the only one that didn't, but interesting game. It was a lot of fun. The NFL, once again, blowing it on their halftime performances. Can't believe that they would actually let... You know, it's funny. You look at the commercials, and I'd love to hear what your favorite commercials are. Tweet me at Ron Siegel. Tell me what your favorite commercials were from the game. But it's very interesting. The biggest money being spent right now in advertising, and it is every year at this time, it's always the political commercials. Now, ironically enough, the NFL does not allow political commercials during the halftimes or during the game, so the stations don't get that purchasing. Although at $5 million per 30-second commercial, I don't think that we're going to get we're not going to go getting tin cups for the advertisers for CBS. But here's the issue: is the NFL consistently having problems with their halftime guests. Can you imagine Beyonce out there with her Black Panther outfit promoting Black Lives Matter in her song on the NFL? Amazing that wasn't detected during rehearsals. Do you think that changed from the time the rehearsals went on until game time? I highly doubt it. NFL, they just can't get it right. They did, was it a few years ago after they had the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction? Wardrobe malfunction.
You know better than that.
Yeah, you know better than that. I don't really believe that it was a wardrobe malfunction, but hey, if that's what they want to call it, we'll go from there. But here's the concept is now you got Beyonce out there with another one of these issues. Remember they went to, who were the old guys that they had afterwards? I think they were almost dead when they performed at halftime after that. Coldplay did a good job. Coldplay did just fine. Why do they need to add Beyonce? Next we'll probably hear from Kanye Whack Job or something like that. That isn't he the one that's always promoting her? I don't get it. Great game. I must admit, I was on here last week and the week before predicting that the Panthers would win. I wanted the Broncos to win. Didn't think they had much of a chance. But yeah, they came through. That defense, amazing defense last night on that game. Hope that I know that Peyton Manning says that he hasn't made up his mind, that he was going to drink some Budweiser. How many times did you repeat the same line and Budweiser says, no, they didn't pay him to say that? Yeah, but I'm sure there'll be some. He never mentioned going to get any Papa John's pizza. I don't get it. I wonder where the disconnect is there. But he's going to drink Budweiser. Yeah. And he didn't get paid to say it. Uh-huh. Where was that guy that we had here just a minute ago?
You know better than that.
Yeah, you know better than that. I'm not a believer, but maybe I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Just stating my own personal opinion, which I'm known to do from time to time. Report out, Philadelphia Union bosses paying $1 million for NFL tickets. And that's from a state where it's mandatory that people join the union. What do you think about that concept? Having to pay union dues to go toward NFL bosses going to the Super Bowl NFL games. Philadelphia's International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. 98 had, as they put it in this article, most egregious expenditures. 2014 alone, it spent $264,000 on Eagles tickets to promote job creation. Now, how do you think they were promoting job creation at Eagles football games? Just a question, and that's where the union dues are going. I wonder about that concept. It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. But then again, there's a lot of things that don't make sense to me. Like, why is it that in California we're still paying over $2.50 a gallon for gas when the national average is $1.73.9, and there's only 7 states that are over $2? We're one of them. Yeah, I don't like that idea. Ow! Try and let's see if we can get a hold of our Congress people or our state electeds. It's not really Congress. It's our state elected Assembly and State Senate that are dealing with this. They've got that cap and trade garbage because they want to build the high-speed train going from, the armpit of California on one side to the armpit on the other side. I think it's Bakersfield to Modesto. Do you know anybody in Bakersfield that wants to go to Modesto? I don't know anybody that wants to go to Modesto in the first place, but we're going to spend billions of dollars supposedly on this. That's our cap and trade. That's why we're paying over $2.50 a gallon and the national average at $1.73.9. Amazing. I saw this other article here. I thought it was just intriguing. It doesn't really have anything to do with our topics on a whole, but I found it interesting, and I've shared with you many, many times that is what I bring you as interesting, or so I think is interesting. The average American now will spend 43 days of their life on hold. Really, talk about useless.
You're absolutely useless.
43 days on hold. Americans will likely waste more than 900 million hours waiting on hold this year, according to an analysis of more than 4 million phone calls from consumers to businesses. And we talk about businesses being business friendly as they put their consumers on, or their clients on hold. Yeah, maybe we got to get rid of some of this technology and get back to the good old-fashioned people talking to people. What a novel thought that would be. Speaking about novel thoughts, are you waking up this morning looking at the market, looking at your 401k? Well, I would suggest if you do, get some Maalox to go with that, because the markets are not pretty as we speak right now. As we record on our flagship station, ESPN AM 1700, the market's down 326 points, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. U.S. 10-year Treasury, the prices are up. The yield is down to 176. What does that mean for you? That's going to be the topic of the day today. What does that mean to you? What can you do with the information? How does that information help you? Well, here's what we're going to chat about a lot on this is, in the last week or so, I've been getting a lot of phone calls from people saying, Ron, number one, why don't you take phone calls on radio? Well, they take too long. When people call in, you gotta be quick at cutting people off, and I don't like doing that. So what I do is people will call me throughout the week and weeks, And I kind of accumulate some of these messages, and I'm going to talk to you about some of those calls because many of them may be situations that you fit into. If your situation is a little bit different, feel free. You can go ahead and tweet me because I am monitoring that while we are on the broadcast. And I'll share information with you on how the market, with the downturn in the stock market, finally the market's catching reality, and the U.S. 10-year Treasury prices up, interest rates down. What does that mean to you? How do you benefit? How can you make yourself a lot of money? You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, homes are selling quickly across the country. We'll talk about it. How to avoid mortgage refinance scams. A little-known tip that can reduce your tax bill by over $1,000. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Miss any part of our broadcast, YouTube.com/Ron Siegel 1. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
It's not every day your home gets flooded, but when it happens, you've got the good people at Apris on your side. With over 25 years of construction and insurance experience, they can turn any disaster around, making your home good as new. For 24/7 support, call 844-GO-APRIS or find us on the web at www.apris.me. Day, night, rain, or shine, when it happens to you, you know what to do. Go Apris. Remember, call 844-GO-APRIS. That's 844-462-7747.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends over at VIP Mortgage. Now is the time to be getting your mortgage refinanced, restructured. Why do I say that? Well, I've been sharing with you that the 10-year Treasury is going to continue dropping as the market. Here's the idea. The markets have been on crack for a long time. Yeah, I know you're not supposed to talk about crack well, what the heck. The markets have been on crack for a long time. But it's been crack from the Federal Reserve. They've been giving us a consistent dose of unreality, if that is even a word, lack of reality. The Federal Reserve has been keeping interest rates so low, artificially low, and now they said they started increasing interest rates. Well, people are coming back to reality. The idea here is, why has there been no wage growth? Why has there been the real unemployment? I think we reported it last week. The U6 number is at 10.5%. Why is that? 10.5% of the people are either unemployed or underemployed. Why is it that there's 94 million Americans that are not working? Well, but we see the stock market was going up. Well, the answer to that question is very, very simple. The Federal Reserve has been putting money into the market, so much money in the market. I refer to it as the markets have been on crack. People have not been dealing with reality. Now that the Federal Reserve said they're going to increase interest rates, and they did increase interest rates, the markets are coming back to reality. And it is, as I've said many, many times, it's not, it is what it is. That's all I could say.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So when we talk about the idea of the mortgages and you being able to refinance and restructure your loan, well, that's unfortunately when we start seeing a lot of the scam artists coming out. And I ironically enough, I've got a soundboard that I use and a clock on my iPad that I use to try and keep track of the time while we're on broadcasting. And I see a little banner that comes across on this little app that I use, and it says, Obama to reduce fees on 15-year mortgage. Really? Do you think he has that much money? No, he doesn't have that much money. I mean, I know he writes we're in debt an extra $10 trillion in his term, but the president doesn't control that. Yet these apps want you to click on the button to try and get you to get into these different scams. Now, a 15-year mortgage is not technically a scam. It's not a good financial vehicle for you. It makes you put more money into your home. It makes the bank in a stronger position, which does not necessarily help you, but it's not a scam. Here's where some of the scams are that you really need to be careful of. If somebody calls you and says, $1,000, we can get your interest rate reduced. You don't have to go through any of the process. It's just a special offer from your lender. Really? Do you think your lender, number one, your existing lender, or who you think is your existing lender, because most of the time when you write a check, it's going to the servicing agent for an investor. So just because you write a check to Chase or Wells Fargo or Litton or Ocwen or North Star, that doesn't necessarily mean they're the investor on your loan. They're the servicing company for your loan. They may or may not be the investor. So here's what you do with that. That basically then tells you that if somebody says they can reduce the rate for sending them some money and they're going to guarantee it, do you think the investor knows? Do you think the investor wants to reduce the amount of money that they're getting from you? If you're making your payments on time, do you think the investor or your current servicing company wants you to refinance your home? No. They're happy you're making the payments. They're getting more money than they should. Life is good, except for you. That's why I'm the consumer advocate looking out for you and saying, you know something? Call our friends over at VIP Mortgage. Let them adopt your mortgage, because here's the issue. I'll call it like it is. They only make money when you refinance. Are they motivated for you to refinance? Yes. But they need to provide you documentation. I use what we call a total cost analysis when listeners call me. But they need to provide you documentation as to how much money you will save over what periods of time. If you're not going to save money, is there a benefit to you in refinancing? Most likely not. Maybe there is. Maybe there is a benefit to you because maybe you want to get rid of that high credit card debt. Maybe you're spending $500, $800, $1,000 a month on credit card debt that you're paying 9, 12, 20% interest on. Those are all legitimate things that are happening to people all the time, and they don't realize, they haven't looked back and said, we don't want to raise our interest rate from that 3.5% or 3% that we had, and I'm going to keep paying 20% on my credit card debt. Really? Does that make any sense to you? They don't realize that they've got a lot of appreciation in their property over the last 2 years, but they're going to continue making payments on credit card debt. Really? Does that make any sense to you? I want you just to think about the logic here. Does it make sense to you to continue making these higher payments and to keep one low number? Let's take the next step. Mortgage interest is still a deductible item on your tax returns. I don't know your specific situation, so I can't tell you that your mortgage interest is deductible, but in most instances, mortgage interest is deductible. Talk to your tax planner and see to what extent. Refinance your home. Maybe you want to pay off some other debts. Maybe it'll be a benefit for you in that arena. You got to talk to the people. You got to get the right information, but I'm still talking to you right now about refinance scams. Here's an easy way to tell if you're getting scammed. If the caller says to you, they don't know your address, they don't know your date of birth, they don't know your social security number, do you think they've really got your loan package on file? The last time you took out a loan, especially if it's been in the last 5 years, do you remember the paperwork you provided your lender? It always included your date of birth. It included your social security number, your address. Heck, you probably did enough paperwork to tell them about your firstborn as well. Yet if they don't have that information, what do you think that's going to be telling you? Upfront fees. Very rarely are you going to be paying upfront fees for a new loan. You may pay for an appraisal, maybe. You can work the fees into the refinancing of your home, either through the interest rate, which means you're going to pay higher interest, longer term period, or you can pay it in a different method, just writing a check or increasing your loan balance to cover those fees. Generally, in most instances, when we do a total cost analysis for a listener, we find that it's best to roll the fees into a new loan, not into the interest rate. Not into the interest rate. That's what's happening when you hear about these companies on radio coming out and saying, it's the biggest no-brainer of all time. We're going to give you a loan. We're going to lower your interest rate. No fees, no costs, nothing. We're not even going to put it into your new loan. Where do you think they're paying for it? Interest rate. They're making the money through their interest rate. So be careful of those scammers because they are good at trying to persuade you that they're doing what's in your best interest. Beware of suspicious emails. Don't provide this information. The law even requires now legitimate mortgage companies must be communicating with you through a secured method of communication. So when you just get these crazy little emails asking you for your social security number, that's not a secured method of communication. Give us a call. We'd be happy to let you know if you're getting some good advice or scammed advice, or maybe they're just looking to try and steal your identity. We see that one as well. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio. That was the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends over at VIP Mortgage. Give me a call. I'll put you in touch with them. When we come back, homes selling quickly across the country. Little-known tip that can reduce your tax bill. We're going to talk about some scenarios of listeners that have called in recently. We'll share their story, not their name or their personal information. Maybe you can learn from it, and if you've got questions, you can reach out to me anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Tweet me at Ron Siegel, Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com. Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area-trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. When you want the value of your home, text PAIR, P-E-A-R, to 79564. They will give you the equity value of your property. Those reports online, they will not give you the equity value of your property. They're going to be looking at certain things, not everything.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
So if you want the truth, you want the true value, again, text PAIR, P-E-A-R. And if you're contemplating a move, well, there's a lot of people that have been thinking of moving, and they just haven't done it yet. The reason that many have not done it is they look at it and they say, you know something, I don't know that I've got equity in my property. I don't know if properties are even selling right now because I want to wait till springtime. Well, I'm here to tell you that we've got some new reports out from the National Association of Realtors, their existing home sales report. Homes were on the market an average of 58 days. And that was in the month of December, 58 days. Slightly longer than the 54 days in November, but still better than the 66 days experienced in December of last year. 32% of homes across the country were on the market for less than a month. Less than a month. Yeah, in California, 31 to 45 days is basically our zone here in California. So if you want to sell your property, it's always best when the supply is low, demand is high, which is what we're seeing right here. And I just shared with you, or I've been sharing with you, what's happening in the marketplace when it comes to interest. The interest rates are extremely low right now. With interest rates as low as they are, don't you think that would make a lot of sense for when you would want to be getting involved in buying a house, moving up, getting that next home? You always want to do those things when it's advantageous to you. Very, very simple information. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment. Again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Let's look at a couple thoughts here about folks that have either, basically they're callers who reach out to us. We get obviously a lot of calls every single day from folks looking at what makes sense to them or their mortgage professionals. 70% of the mortgage professionals have left the industry. 70%. Why? Well, not quite the industry it was 10 years ago. Not quite as lucrative. The government intervention, the government mandates, the requirements made it so it's a lot more difficult to get into the industry. That means that there's a lot of folks out there who were intending to, thought they had created a relationship, a lifelong relationship with somebody to help them with their mortgage needs. Well, those people are gone. So we end up getting these calls. We adopt the mortgage on Ron Siegel Radio. It's a complimentary service that we do for listeners, adopt a mortgage. So they'll send us a copy of their mortgage statement or statements if they've got a home equity line of credit. And we put that on what's called a total cost analysis form. And the form really goes comprehensively into what the listeners have, where the market is for their property, what is the value of their property, what is the current equity position in the property, and what might make some sense for them as far as where mortgages are. Maybe here's a scenario. Mr. G is a veteran and bought a home in the San Diego market. His loan amount is down at $517,852. He's got a 4.25% interest rate. 4.25% interest rate. That's what his current interest is right now. And he's on target to pay off his loan in 28 and a half years, just a little over 28 and a half years to pay off his loan. He could reduce his payments by $160 a month by doing what's called an IRL, an interest rate reduction loan. It's a special program for veterans. Doesn't have to do a whole lot of anything to do this program, but sign some papers, make sure his credit is still where it was. If his credit is better, he might get a better rate, better savings. But here's the concept of why the total cost analysis is so powerful. If he were to keep his payments the same and do the IRL, reduce his interest rate, instead of that 28 and a half years to pay off his loan, he can do it in a little over 26 years. So he's got a couple of options, and it shows him that the first 5 years of savings, over $3,000 in savings. And through his process here, he's also looking at in 15 years, he'd be looking at about $31,000 in savings. $31,000 saved over 15 years by doing nothing more than signing a few papers, supplying some documents. The reason I talk about this so much at this time of year, the first quarter of the year, almost every document that you might need to redo your loan, to restructure your loan, if it makes sense for you, to restructure your household finances. And that's where I would get back to the concept of what I shared with you a little bit ago about the idea of restructuring so that your debt, get rid of all that credit card debt. Don't rack it up again. That's the whole idea. You don't want to rack up that credit card debt again. But the issue that I want you to think about there is go and restructure it. Let it make sense for your household. And in this particular situation, saving $160, we didn't even look for Mr. G at the idea of does he have other debt, because he could probably take some money out of his property because he's got a bunch more equity in that property right now. That is Mr. G saving $160 a month almost, and that's after fees. We look at these things on behalf of folks after fees. Here's an interesting scenario. Mr. H. So Mr. H bought his house in the middle of last year, early part of last year. He's looking at a $410,000 loan balance. His interest rate, and a part of this from what he tells me is because he had mortgage insurance, he was putting the mortgage insurance into the interest rate, so he didn't have to pay mortgage insurance. His interest rate, 4.5%, payment of $2,400 a month. But here's the interesting scenario for him. He doesn't have enough equity to get rid of his mortgage insurance yet, but what is happening with interest rates? They're extremely low. They've gone down about 0.5% since he bought his property. His property has appreciated, so he can basically keep his payments just about where they are. But the beauty of that is by reducing his interest rate by 0.5%, he's going to have mortgage insurance right now, but that's going to fall off probably in about 2 years. Every credible source we have says interest rates will be about 20% or 25% higher at the end of this year than they are right now. So think about this as a long-term process. He's got a 30-year loan, so we know we're looking at a long-term thought process. Would it make sense for him to restructure that loan and not have any additions to his payments? His payments will be roughly the same thing. It looks like it's going to be about $4 a month more. $4 a month more. But at the end of the time, as soon as we can get rid of that mortgage insurance, he saves $140 a month. So for a short period of time, he pays basically, we'll call $4 a month, basically the same thing. But then for the remaining 28 years, he's going to save $140 a month. $140 times 28 years means that he's going to save, well, 140 times 12 means $1,680 a year times 28, $47,000 in savings over the life of the loan. $47,000 because he takes advantage of the market when the market is ready for him to take advantage of it. We don't know what it's going to do. I can't predict what's going to happen down the road. Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, not Fannie Mae, they're basically calling the same. Freddie Mac, Mortgage Bankers Association, and National Association of Realtors all saying interest rates will be about 25% higher at the end of this year from where they are today. Do you think that makes sense for Mr. H here to save $47,000? To me, it seems like a little bit of a no-brainer, but we'll see what he wants to do. It's our job to present information. He cannot make an educated decision when he's not been educated. Think about that concept. Here's another one. Mrs. G up in Northern California, $241,000 loan amount. Her loan is at 4 5/8. She can go down to the threes, the high threes. We're going to talk about that one as soon as we come back. We'll get you Mrs. G's information. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, more scenarios. If you miss any of them, go back to Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube or the archives on ronsiegelradio.com. Also, we got a tip on how to reduce your tax bill by over $1,000. That'll be up as well. You can reach me anytime. Call the off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, and on Twitter at Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
Attention homeowner 62 and older. Do you worry if you can afford to keep your home? Are you concerned about paying all your monthly expenses? Or do you simply wish you could live a better retirement? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you may qualify for a program that can help. It's called FHA Reverse Mortgage. It's insured by the federal government. You'll receive tax-free money. You aren't required to make any monthly mortgage payments, and you still own your home. Siegel Lending Team is a local leader in FHA reverse mortgages. Call free to get your free reverse mortgage guide, free custom quote. And when you call now, you can get all your questions answered by local experts. There is no monthly mortgage payment and tax-free money you can use for healthcare expenses, home improvements, or just live a better retirement with peace of mind. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-1990 to get your free reverse mortgage guide and quote. You'll also find them on the web at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com. Call 800-306-1990 now.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Credit problems stopping you from getting your next car? No one can promise you an approval, but at North County Ford and Vista, they work hard to get you approved. North County Ford and Vista, you can count on them.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today being brought to you by your household board of directors. Text ATP to 79564. Fill out the survey, and you will get a household board of directors invitation or introduction sent directly to you from the team at Ron Siegel Radio. Basically, it's going to be your tax planner, CPA, financial planner, estate planning attorney. If you needed a family lawyer, if you need a bankruptcy lawyer, credit repair, almost everybody needs credit repair, mortgage, real estate professionals, they're all part of your household board of directors. And you simply text ATP, Area Trusted Professional, to 79564. Be happy to set that up for you. Little known tip that could reduce your tax bill by over $1,000. Think about this because, again, it's one of those things that you need to have the right questions. I am not here to say to you that this is for you. I'm here to say this is potentially for you. I don't know your situation. Without knowing your situation, I can't tell you this is the right solution for you. What I can say is that it does work for many. If it works for many, if your situation is similar, talk to your tax professional. These are the type of things that don't come on the online or do-it-yourself services. You got to have somebody that can really think about and understand your overall picture when you sit down and talk to them. Here's a scenario one. I'm going to give you two of them. One will be a larger income, smaller income, to give you an idea. Income's $100,000. You had no other deductions like no mortgage interest, shame on you, or no charitable contributions. You do not have a retirement plan at work. Estimated taxes for the year, $16,016. Let's say you had $15,000 of that already pulled out of your checks. You still owe $1,016. If you contributed or can contribute the maximum of $5,500 to a traditional IRA account before you file your taxes, you can do that before or up until April 18th of 2016 for the 2015 tax year. You have until April 18th to make your 2015 contribution according to IRS publication 509. That's on the tax calendars for how statewide holidays may delay this until the 19th as well. So you got to just check on your particular situation. Make that $5,500 contribution to an IRA, and you're going to get a refund on your taxes of your federal taxes, $359 by saving for your own retirement. That's a $1,375 savings. Free money, you were going to give it to the government. Now it's in your IRA for you. How about a $50,000 income? You've put $4,000 withheld. You do have a retirement plan in this scenario. Again, putting $5,500 into a traditional IRA reduces your tax bill to just $34 owed, $825 savings. Just a couple thoughts for you. You got to ask the right questions. Again, I'm not saying that this is right for you. I'm saying that asking questions, I don't give you the answers. I'm going to give you a question to ask somebody, because when you talk about taxes, tax professionals go every year and get continuing education to find out what's the new laws, what are the new rules and regulations. I don't do that. I do talk radio. So you've got to go and talk to somebody who does know this. I'm just sharing with you that these are tools that are out there. Another tool that's out there, Roth IRA. This is putting away money in after-tax savings. We've talked about this concept before on Ron Siegel Radio. One of the items that you pay a decent amount of money to every year is going into your insurance, car insurance, homeowner's insurance. Renter's insurance is always relatively inexpensive, but you might be making some payments there as well. Start putting some money into a Roth IRA. Why? When you make your insurance payments, they're going to add one question that's going to help determine the amount of your premium is going to be how much is your deductible. What I'm going to suggest to you is take that deductible and put some of the money from your deductible, or increase your deductible. You save that money in the Roth IRA. Okay, so here's the thought process. Put money into a Roth IRA. Say you could put $500 in your Roth IRA. Now take your auto insurance and increase the deductible from $500 to $1,000. Next year, do the same thing and keep increasing your deductible. Hopefully, you'll have no accidents, but your Roth IRA is going to continue to grow. 10 years from now, maybe you've got your deductible up to $2,500 or $5,000, and your Roth IRA has a similar amount of money. Now you continue letting that grow, but your premiums are coming way down on your insurance. Again, talk to your financial planner, your tax planner. Make sure that it all qualifies for you, it fits your situation, and think about if that will work for your family to make your family life better, save you some money. Do you want the insurance company to have the money, or do you want to have the money? Just a thought there for you. Mrs. G is our next scenario that we're talking about on figuring out callers, how we can help them. Can we save them some money on their scenarios because their mortgage people may have gotten out of the business, so they're not watching anything on their behalf. So we're looking at Mrs. G's scenario now. Mrs. G owes $241,000 on her property, and we're going to roll the costs in on her scenario, on the total cost analysis for her. Again, she's got about 28 and a half years to go, 28.58 years to go on her existing mortgage. And let's look and see what her payments look like. She's paying 4.625 is her interest rate. 4.625 is the interest rate. Payment, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, $1,580 a month. She's not going to save a huge amount. Why isn't she going to save a huge amount? Because she doesn't have a huge loan balance. That's why she's not going to save huge on this. But she's going to save $100 a month, $100.79 a month. So rolling those costs in, $500 out of pocket, she's going to save, look at this, 25.8 years until her loan is paid off. 25, so that's about 3.5 years faster by restructuring. 3.5 years faster to restructure her loan. We didn't look at taking any money out, just restructuring her loan. Again, we don't know what her credit scores are, so the numbers could change. Your numbers could change. But going from on a $241,000 loan at 4.625, save over $100 a month, or keep the payments the same, restructure, and save about 3.5 years worth of payments. Does that make sense to you? 3 years, even if it's just 3 years of payments. To me, those are the beauty of doing things like this, is how do you save money by restructuring? Again, we haven't looked on this scenario anything in the way of dealing with what might make sense for them if they need to restructure other debt, build it into the existing loan. Mrs. D up in Northern California as well. 4.625 down to a 4 1/8. Sounds like there might be some credit score issues. Again, if her credit scores are better, she does better. $202 a month saved by restructuring. $500 out of pocket, roll the costs into the new loan. So yes, you're going to have a little bit of a higher payment, but you're going to go from 28.5 years payments to 26 years if you make the exact same payment but restructure the loan. Right now, are you getting a clue here when we're talking about what's going on in the interest rate market? I shared this with you before. The stock market is down significantly. The 10-year Treasury is down, which is helping bring interest rates, mortgage rates down. You already pulled all the paperwork for your tax planner. Make a second copy, send it over to us. We'll get it over to the folks over at VIP Mortgage, 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with them and see if any of these scenarios make sense for you. I know your situation is completely different, but I don't think you're going to be missing out on saving money. I don't think you want to miss out on saving money. I don't know too many people that do. We just want to make sure that you get every savings opportunity you can. And one of the ways we like to help you, set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun, have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
XLPE 1700 AM
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700.
West Automotive